Hello.
Yet again, we are live. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Blacspiration podcast. We are a podcast that is for Black people by Black people. I am one of your hosts, the infamous Larry with the heart of gold himself, your favorite neighborhood shiesty man, the man whose somebody else's ringtones is going off in the background.
Okay, great. I'm so glad you addressed it because I thought I was hearing stuff. I was very nervous. Thank you so much.
That's another ringtone. Your third favorite Washington behind Carrie and Denzel, but it's not a ranking order. I mean, they're top, and then I'm like right there. You know what I'm saying? Cortez Washington, and I'm happy to be here. You know what I'm saying? And on this episode today, we have the lovely Amira Young-Kingsawan, and she's going to be talking about Kingsawan.
Kingsawan.
Like, I'm not saying it like that. It just came out like that.
Oh, hold on. We're breaking up for you a little bit. I think.
You good, player.
Okay, say something for me real quick, Amir.
Yeah, do you hear me?
Yes, okay, perfect. I can hear you now.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah. All right. And so we're happy to have her here, but I introduced myself. Now my co-host needs to introduce herself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So go
Hi.
ahead.
Hello, everyone. If you are watching live, hello. If you are listening after the fact, hello to you as well. My name is Asia. That's what you can call me. I'm a variety streamer, a photographer, and live streaming content creator. So I am also the compassion-centric Renaissance woman, the co-host behind our podcast now. And I joined here because I really believe in highlighting Black people in a world that refuses to acknowledge the excellence of Black people all the time. You know what I mean? There's just so much that needs to be highlighted, and if other people aren't gonna do it, why not us? But I'm excited to introduce Amira Young-Kingsawan. I know that the name is beating Cortez of the
Thank you.
But a little bit about Amira. Amira is a community organizer with the Worker Center of Racial Justice, which is a grassroots organization fighting for Black liberation and a fair and inclusive society that benefits all people through direct action, organizing, policy advocacy, leadership development, and voter engagement. So she's also an advocate as a member of Voices. And Voices is not just Voices, but also a member of Domestic Violence Awareness of the Sojourner Center and a Lupus Foundation of America advocate. So welcome in, Amira.
Thank you. I like to think I'm a jack of all trades, you know.
Period. As you are. Yes.
Thanks, Queen. Thanks.
Thank you. How are you doing today? What makes you want to agree to be on the show?
Well, I'm just excited to be here. It's also, I was like I mentioned before, it's also nice to see other beautiful faces out here who are doing great work, who look like me and are just amazing. And we need more people to do this great work. So continue to stream and to be great and to highlight beautiful people, because y'all are doing amazing. Y'all are doing great.
I will cry right now. I'll cry right now. I'll stop right now. That's fine. That's totally fine.
So sorry. I don't want you to cry, Asia. Don't cry.
It's just, I'm emotional. I'm just an emotional little bitty. It's never too early for a good cry. But yeah, what are you watching right now? What are you watching or binging? Are you a gamer at all? What are your things? What are some Amira lore points?
Let me see. You know what? I'm so bad because I'm not into games at all. And evidently not a social media queen.
And that's fine.
I like to think that I like to stay out the way, but to occupy myself, I will watch a good show once in a while. So The Lincoln Lawyer is something that I've started and have been binging on. Pretty interesting. Like it. I'm always into random shit, so it kind of depends on the mood. I'm a Scorpio, by the way, so you never know what you're gonna get out of here.
Scorpio season's coming up soon. Yeah, it's on the way. I've heard is that it's Leo season right now, and I've never heard more about a season than I have Leo season. And I feel like as a Taurus, I am absolutely. I'm like, oh yeah, all month's my birthday, but I am never like it's Taurus season. I don't, because that's just summer. You know what I mean?
For sure. I think them Leos are a little bit what they say. Here come them arrogant ass Leos. Nah.
I'm crying.
No, but just kidding.
Yeah.
We love Leos.
Yeah. What are you watching or binging right now, Cortez?
Shit. What the fuck am I watching? I've been watching a lot of I've been into 80s action movies recently. So I just watched Terminator and a bunch of random shit like that. I'm about to go through my yearly watch of Demolition Man, which is, have you ever heard of Demolition Man?
I feel like I recognize the title, but I don't know what it's about. I couldn't tell you what it was about on a game show for money.
So Demolition Man is a movie where Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes. Wesley Snipes is like a maniacal supervillain, and they both get frozen as a punishment, or crime, or a prison sentence. Basically, instead of them going to prison, they get frozen, and then they wake up in the future. Wesley Snipes get waking up first because they think he rehabilitated, but he just, of course, gets to murdering people because he was wild before and you just froze him. He didn't change. So then that happens. So then they wake up Wesley Snipes, and then not Wesley Snipes. They wake up Sylvester Stallone, and Sylvester Stallone is like, oh yeah, I guess so he stops him, but it's a bunch of weird funny shit. In the future, instead of toilet paper, they use 3 shells, which is and everybody clown them because they don't know how to use the shells. And also Taco Bell has taken over the world, so everything is Taco Bell theme. They're the Taco
what?
Bell. Yeah. And so also violence. There is I guess there hadn't been any violent crimes in 15 or 20 years. So when Wesley Snipes start killing people, they're 187. It's what the hell is a 187? You know, and it's murder. The computer says that shit. So it's but it's a bombastic 80s movie. Wesley Snipes is a little racist. He say some messed up stuff about the Asian community, but it kind of plays into his role as him just being an all around just terrible person.
Okay.
Which setting, but it still is oh, I don't know about that. I have to skip over it, you know, because he just do some weird shit. But so now when I think about it, I might not watch it again. But
you know what? If that's
You're in hindsight. Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But no, I've just been watching that anime, of course, watching some random anime, old school shit, in the Gundam. And what else have I been watching? I'm about to start watching the Batman again because the Penguin show's getting ready to come out, and I can't wait for that shit. So.
Oh, I didn't know they were doing a show.
Yeah, the Penguin. Yeah, Colin Farrell's the Penguin. So, and he does a really good job, surprisingly. You would think.
You know what? He plays a good villain.
Yeah, he does a really good job. Have you seen the Batman? Have y'all seen the new Batman that came out in 2022?
No, because I'm horrible. I don't even watch movies. I cannot, and my ADHD just doesn't allow me to concentrate on anything. So
Batman is not one of the ones that I probably would have dove into. I can say that I feel like I have seen them. Do I feel like I saw them enough to keep them in my heart? No. You know what I mean? I know Ben Affleck's on that cover being I'm the Batman. And that's...
This ain't that one. This is the one with Robert Pattinson and Zoe Kravitz.
Okay. So you know what? So I have no idea what you're talking about. And that's fine.
It's way better. It's way better than Ben Affleck.
That's wild. That's...
Yeah. So
what do you mean? Why do we keep switching up the heroes? Why can't we just pick somebody like we're supposed to be doing with Marvel or something?
Cause man, you just got to. You know
okay, that's you know what.
Hey, shout out to Robert Pattinson real quick
for being Batman.
Show some love.
He was Batman.
Yeah, he was Batman.
Boo.
All right, got you.
Thank you.
This guy stinks.
Yeah, exactly. Robert, we could have let that go. That's fine. That's not my business. I have been watching The Diary of a CEO because I am a TikTok girly, and this man, well, this girl was like, you should watch, and if you're gonna watch anything at all, you're gonna watch this one from The Divorce Expert, and it's this man who is the number one lawyer for like celebrities and I don't know, high profile clients or whatever, and he's talking about like all the things that people that goes into a marriage and the way that marriage is essentially like a contract, and you know, like the way that you could absolutely just say like we're married and wear a ring and nobody would ever know, nobody's like checking your marriage certificate, but the moment that you do that thing that's legally binding, then you have to do all this other stuff. And he also changed my mind about prenups. I was like, nobody's gonna get rich if we're gonna share this shit, but now I'm like, oh, I get it, because the way he described a prenup is basically like a situation or a guideline for the way that y'all are going to separate stuff that doesn't involve the law and doesn't involve the state saying this is what you absolutely have to do. It's instead what y'all decide if it ever gets to that point, right? And he says that all marriages end, they either end in death or divorce. And I'm like, damn, that's deep. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's so accurate. And he's, oh my God, it's so good. It's on YouTube. They also have a podcast, but I like watching the production of their video things. So so that's really nice. But I've been really obsessed with that. And then also trying to finish Spy Family because I'm a turd and I can't get through it. It's like every single time I be watching and she's like, Anya wants peanuts, and then something just makes me laugh. I go somewhere else. I never finish it. I'm like so close to the end.
Okay. Nice. So you watching some interesting shit. I don't really.
Yeah, I like watching stuff about the way that people interact with each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like, I like people. I think it's important to have a people focus because we're not going to gain every perspective over the history of our lifetime. And the way that we do that is by talking to people who are really in their I don't know, their expert bag, like that man, or this other woman who's like a sleep physician and says that she can almost like predict almost 90% correctly every single time if a sports team is going to do well based on their sleep studies. That's nuts.
Interesting. See, the more you know.
The more you know. You know,
The
like,
more you know.
I just want to be a well-rounded individual. That's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into like some of our interview questions, because specifically our first question, I was always like, what is your origin story, right? I know you answered this a little bit before, but like, how did you get into being a community organizer, and what was that final push to kind of make your passion for advocacy into a career?
So I have my own, obviously, adversities that I've faced that have helped me fuel my own fire. But I think that when I came in contact with Sojourner, which is a local domestic violence shelter here in Milwaukee, I was serviced by them. And they really helped me to get out of the boat that I was in. And not only from a standpoint of me being vulnerable, but I think also with the healing aspect of it, they really held your hand through your healing process. And I think that it was, really important for me to learn from the situation that I had, but also to give back, because I do things that feed my soul. So if I was able to learn something from it, and if I was able to be someone who was a safe space for somebody, I wanted to do the same thing. So I actually got involved with Voices, which is the group of women who have been through domestic violence, and we go out and educate the community on different things, and not only what domestic violence is, but how can we reduce like recidivism and people going back to jail or prison for these offenses and things like that. And I think the question that I became like keen to, and that would always kind of draw me back, was what are we doing once we send these men and women to prison? What are we doing to rehabilitate them, to make sure that they don't reoffend?
Yeah.
because you can make sure that the victim is safe, right? And that's just as important. But how are we getting to the root cause so that this one individual doesn't come back with 3 other victims, you know? And I think that my favorite thing is to make people a little bit uncomfortable with my questions, but I think we have to be uncomfortable to be comfortable again.
Yep.
And so that's what shifted me into creating like a real safe haven. So that's how I got in contact with my current organization that I'm with, the Worker Center for Racial Justice, and just been spitting fire ever since.
Yeah. And can you tell
That's
us more
dope.
about Voices and like what it stands for and like any like fun facts about them?
Yeah, so Voices, as mentioned, we like to think that we are a group of women and individuals who have been serviced by Sojourner, and we educate the community, as mentioned, on domestic violence, and also the things that Sojourner has done for us, and how we can inform the public. So oftentimes, whether it's a panel that we're a part of or a press conference to the public, or sharing information or news, you know, with tabling at an event. We're just always involved with the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because Sojourner is nice enough to host these meetings. Correct. I don't remember off the top of my head. I apologize. I think it's bi-monthly, where they also have a Voices member there to speak on experiences or to speak on, you know, why we need to continue to feed into our social services and why they're so important. Sojourner is located on 6th and Walnut, and you know, that's a lot of Black and brown faces that they service, as well as, you know, other entities, because the restraining order clinic is in there as well. But I think that they create a safe haven for people so that you're not running through loops when you're in crisis, right? There's a shelter, there's restraining order clinic, there's hope and healing groups that you're able to attend. There's even camp for your children. And so I think that it's a real safe space. And what the work that Voices does is by informing the public, informing local businesses, and just like, again, spreading that information, it's important. And so that's like the base around our work, trying to advocate for policy change and advocate for understanding the victim, but understanding what we look like when we don't label ourselves as victims, but instead, you know, growing individuals who've experienced something and gotten through it.
That's special.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it sounds like, you know, is staying rooted in the community and keeping that like hands-on approach to like doing the work that you're doing and not getting too distant from it. Do you feel like your work with Voices really helped with reinforcing your skill set when it came to working with Worker Center for Racial Justice as well?
Absolutely. I think with Voices, we're always given a safe space in a room, and we're also received by a lot of different people. And so no matter if the news is in attendance or if it's a group of individuals who simply got our newsletter from that month and want to be informed on how they can help or what our stories look like, I think being raw and authentic has really just helped everyone reach that gap that we were kind of in. And I think that being transparent, like I said, I love to be uncomfortable to be comfortable again. That's how I thrive. That's how I learn. And that's how other people learn, you know, and you may go home like, oh man, that was heavy on my conscience. But I think that it's worth it. You know, I think some of these things, and some of the positions that I've been put into just speaking to the public, I've had people reach out to me that I would have never anticipated because they see a familiar face, they feel safe. My favorite thing was always to mention and tell people like, hey, you know your story, you know where you come from, but you know your aggressor. You do what's right for you when it is right for you. That doesn't necessarily mean a restraining order. It doesn't necessarily mean calling the cops. It doesn't necessarily mean, you know, doing something extreme that you're not comfortable with. What does it look like for you? You create that safety plan. If you just want someone to call and talk to, let's provide that for you. If you want to have an escape plan or a safety plan that involves you, you know, seeking shelter with your young child, let's go ahead and advocate for that and do that for you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the stigma with domestic violence, right? Because a lot of the time they love the individual, they don't want to harm the individual or send that individual away. And so, but they want to save themselves too, you know,
Yeah.
and just letting them know that, girl, you know your story, or hey, motherfucker, you know your story. Like, that's on you. Like, it's very sad sometimes when I have like the men and women, and when I've worked in the shelter from Voices, I graduated and actually was employed by Sojourner a number of years after, and the things that I would see and the stories that I hear, I take them with me, and I don't bottle them up, but I do something with them. And I try to continue to be that voice and be that empathetic person who I was serviced by once in a while, way back when. You like to think.
Yeah.
So it's always nice to give back.
So I guess, how do you separate or create like maybe boundaries between the work that you're doing and like space for yourself? Like, what do you how do you differentiate that, right? Because people might come up to you and say, hey, oh my God, this happened to me too, everything, and then you know, kind of move into that space versus being like, how do I get you to this side when we're kind of like here?
Yeah, I think that unfortunately I'm very empathetic, so I will never turn anybody away, not ever. If I can do anything for you or listen to you or give you a hug if you need it, definitely going to be that person. So, but I think the line draws is that I do my best at my job, and I know that I do my best at my job. And I think that I go home at night knowing that I tried my best. And that is how I give myself peace. And that's how I kind of shut it off and separate, like, all right, the workday is done. I've done all I could do for the day. Tomorrow, I'm going to go back and be great once again because I'm able to have this personal time, right? So that's kind of how I differentiate that time.
I think that's great. Yeah, I feel like I am also an empathetic person, and I'm always the person that's going to be like, oh my God, like, are you fine? Like, are you sure you're good? You sure you got it? You know, especially like on the internet, because people are disingenuous sometimes, and I'll engage in good faith and be like, oh my God, are you okay? And stuff like that. And people be like, yeah, I was just joking. What? Like,
right. And then you're like, oh man, my bad.
Like, I'm like, oh God, like, I was genuinely concerned for you. I'm trying to help you. I want the world to be a good place. We can't just keep acting like this. I only have so much energy in a day, and that's my problem now.
For sure.
Who are some of your influences when you were starting out? Did you have like any community leaders that you really liked or got involved with, or was there anyone that you were like, I did not expect to meet them, etc., etc.?
Yeah. That's really hard. I think that my time at Sojourner really shaped me because I was able to give back so much. And Carmen Petrie, she's the CEO of Sojourner. She is she identifies as LGBTQ. She is just a powerful trailblazing woman who has been able to not only navigate this organization with COVID, but being able to keep a shelter open in COVID, to be able to build out a long-term plan that's sustainable, not only for her employees, but the people that she services as well. And she was really just a empowering woman to me. I love you, Carmen. I hope you're amazing. And I think that my peers in this field in general, they motivate me. I have a great friend. His name is Andron Lane. He is an activist in the community, and also a formerly incarcerated individual who was able to restore his voting rights, experience voting. He's a great father, and he is a trailblazer, and all he does all day long is spread love and information. And you will not have a conversation without him ending it with, and I love you, you have a good day. And some people look at him like, huh, what? When I first met him, I'm like, did this man just say I love you?
Yeah.
But he's like, No, I love you, my brother. I love you, my sister. You have to navigate the world with love. There's not enough of that. There's not that comfort. And he was just really influential, when I first met him, and he's kind of taken me under his wing as his little sis. And so I greatly appreciate him and everything that he does for the community. But I come from a strong family of women who are service-based. My grandma has worked for Children's Hospital for over 25 years. My mom has lupus disease as well, so she advocates with the Lupus Foundation of America. My uncle's been system impacted. He's a felon, but he's able to turn his life around as well. So I have a lot of great and strong individuals around me that are system impacted who've just grown from that. And I like to say that it doesn't define you, you define you, not your experiences. Unfortunately, you are what make up your story. You're able to embody that in whatever that looks like for you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it just sounds like you just got a good group of folks around you. Yeah. And just for those listeners who are tuning in and things like that, and everybody else that's going to tune in later, could you just define system involved? For the folks who system impacted, sorry, for those who aren't familiar with that phrase or that terminology, because I know in this space you can get so used to saying those things and using the language and being in the space, and y'all just bouncing all the terms and terminology around. So I just want to make sure that everybody's up to snuff on everything. So
to me personally, system impacted is being impacted by the system, right? Rather that is receiving any type of social benefit, rather that is seeking a social service because of an experience. That means if you are system impacted by the prison system or the jail system as a whole, the criminal system as a whole, if you've experienced any adversity with that, equity in our community, just anything system impacted that you can honestly think of. People always think that system impacted means that you've been to jail or you've been to prison, came out, and it's so much more than that. Even people who are service with domestic violence, you're system impacted. And so it's just kind of like these neighborhoods that are underserviced and underloved, I like to say. They're impacted. They need these services, they need these things. And so that's what I would personally define it as.
The system impacted, does that cover incidents with police or incidents with
absolutely,
any social work services, things like that?
Absolutely.
It does refer to the system as a whole.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, that is correct. Okay. And I think I like to say any public entity or impact that you've encountered, whether it's police, like I said, or a social service agency, or anything that has brought any injustice upon you, where you've had a hard time acquiring these feasible things that should be normal,
like a government, government,
like a government body, exactly.
Looking at you, Medicare, driving me nuts.
For sure.
Driving me nuts. Approve this health stuff now,
man,
or else. I get very tired of that. I would love for healthcare to reach a point. I don't know. It really pisses me off. This is such an aside, but it really pisses me off when my doctor's office calls me to be like, hey, so we have to cancel your appointment. Can you come in 2 to 3 weeks after the date that we set for you? That annoys me so bad. Do y'all want me to die? Do y'all not care about me? What do y'all mean? 2 to 3 weeks? Y'all are sick. You're not gonna move it up.
The problem at hand is already
right. You want me to perish? You're not being serious. And
absolutely.
That's my only healthcare comment for the night, because I will talk about it for 19 years, and I mean it.
Or they'll be like, hey, you scheduled for next week, but can you come in today at 3? And it's like, what the fuck? I can come in today at 3. It's we just got to open it, and we kind of want to do your stuff right now. So
just based on personal preference. Just based on personal preference.
You said you make it convenience for us.
Yeah.
Because your doctor's gonna be on vacation next week.
Like, sorry, but
Yeah.
get our data.
They're going to the Poconos.
Yeah.
Hurry up.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. Surgery for you now? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't deal.
So, I know that with this work, it's like it can be very like it can feel so in a lot of ways like you are making connections, but it can feel isolating at times too, just with the weight that you're carrying and the information and things. So, like, how have you been able to develop a community of folks, like-minded folks around you that have been able to like be that support system, or even just folks who are people to tap in for knowledge too? You know, like how have you been able to curate that?
Gosh, I guess I have to say I threw myself in. I think the best way is by making conversation and connections. And by that, I mean, I have simply wrote emails and made phone calls. Hey, my name is Amira. I'm with the Worker Center for Racial Justice. I would love to get to know you. Would love to get to know your organization. And I've met executive directors who have been in the criminal justice system, and were labeled as a felon. Now they're labeled as something more, you know, and they've been able to, again, bring me under their wing and show me how they've been able to move around with their adversities. I've also been able to just connect with people who are outside of my community that have faced the same things. And I think that every day there's something new that I'm learning that is a reality check. And when I say a reality check, I'm just like, damn, I thought we were past that, right? But in some parts of the city, we're past that. And then other parts, I'm like, God damn, this is a very much issue, you know, that nobody speaks upon. And so I think that being vulnerable has helped me create that community for myself, reach out when needed. They inform me just as much as I inform them. You know what I'm saying? I can't be all around the city as much as I would like to be. I wish I could be everywhere at one time. And the reality is I can't be. And I love on all of my communities that I know, you know, are most dire. And shoot, when I grow a third hand, then I'll make sure I'll be able to, you know, sweep this city in one day. But for the most part, I've been able to, with the team that I work with, we've been able to knock on over 30,000 doors this year.
Wow.
And this is in Milwaukee. We've walked all over the city of Milwaukee, and we are in the neighborhoods. Well, we're driving and walking in these neighborhoods.
But I mean, still, yeah, you like park somewhere and walk out, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we have like different wards and different sectors that we navigate for the day. And so we will go into all the different neighborhoods on the north side and west side of Milwaukee, and we will talk about what's going on in their neighborhood. How are their everyday lives, you know, and what those everyday adversities look like, and what their communication is with the aldermen. When's the last time they voted? Just all of those different things. And I think just being a familiar face is nice. So I know that every time I'm in the community, I made another friend. I made somebody else gonna be like, hey, Amira, how you doing?
Oh,
hey, Miss Gladys, how you doing today? You know, so that's always a nice thing. And we need to bring that back, because love thy neighbor. Because I grew up knowing my neighbor. My children should grow up knowing their neighbor, you know? So just something to, you know, be mindful of.
I think that's true. I think there's so much community in just knowing who's around you and why. And that will lead me to my next essay, in which I tell people why HOAs are single-handedly the reason why this American government is failing. And that is because
that's where you stop. Okay.
You know,
I was getting really invested.
I was ready. It was right there. I was like, okay, that's because when you about to do conspiracy theory, it's like that's because the lizard
it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually based on theory. It's actually
No, it
based in theory, because I think that HOAs are full of people who go on power trips because they do not have any other meaningful thing in their lives, because they do not care about the community earnestly, or else they would not be in here talking about your trash can is not where it's supposed to be. Get out of my fucking face. I am stressed out. We are poor. Eggs are $7.49 a carton, and you're talking about white trash can. Isn't it? Not for me, but for some people.
I'm about to say you need to go to the farmer's market, my boy, because they $5.
Me personally, I get my eggs from a hood source, because once again, people in my neighborhood, I know what's going on. You know what I mean? But yeah, I absolutely, all of my neighbors, they're like older Black couples, and it's so cute. It's like, it's the best thing in the world. Like, this neighbor like throws stuff for her kids and like does like little like parties in the summer. They were scream singing Watermelon Sugar in the height of the pandemic. Like, they were outside just having the time of their fucking life. And I said, this is so sweet. Also, I would like to take a nap, but this is so sweet. This is so cute. I love y'all, girl. I hope you're having.
I'm gonna give you grace because we don't see this enough.
Right. I hope you're having the best 7th birthday ever. I hope it's eating honey.
Cuss your ass out, but nah, bro, it's cute as hell. I fuck with it.
A bunch of them, just strawberries. It's just nothing. It was nonsense. But yeah, I really believe in knowing your neighbor, and I think it's great that you know that level of recognition comes with just doing the work. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we don't have a lot of earnest paths to that, to just being a community figure in a way that doesn't seem ostentatious or like there's something else insincere about it. I think that's really important work. But just in general, can you explain like what restorative justice is and how those practices can be incorporated into our daily lives before we get into some of the election season things to be concerned about?
Yes, for sure. Restorative justice advocates believe in like a few beliefs, and so I'm gonna just go ahead and list them off. To be frank, it's gonna be: crime is a violation of the people in relationships, not the states and not the law, right? So if I did an injustice to you, Cortez, you hold me accountable for that, to rectify that. Number 2, violations create obligations, not guilt. I'm obligated now to fulfill and hold myself accountable for what I did to you, Cortez, and not feel guilty for a lifetime upon it, right? Because that's also not healthy. What does that do to your mental health? No. And 3, the central obligation is to make things or put things right, not for the state to impose guilt or impose pain. Death penalties, mothers, fathers, grandpas, uncles, there's so many things and so many barriers that people face with that. And so that is what restorative justice is. It's looking at the punishments that we have in place now and completely eliminating them, and just bringing back that accountability, holding them accountable for the truth within themselves, but also being able to restore and advocate for a restoration of that relationship. So if I did an injustice to you, Cortez, I hope Asia would, advocate for me to maintain the truth and for me to maintain the relationship and restore that relationship. And so, like, even with that being said, I want to just drop some facts. Like in Wisconsin and Milwaukee County, we have a rearrest rate of 56.4%. And the reconviction rate is like 28.8%. And I like to think that it's about like $66,000 or something of that nature, odd some numbers, to put one person in prison for a year.
Wow.
We got this mama 5 who has a job that pays her $30,000 a year, but if she goes one more dollar over that, she loses her daycare for her kids with this $30,000 a year job that is also not helpful because she can't pay the rent in the place that she's living, because now their rent is sky high because of other problems and cost of living. So, with the cost of living and everything going on, we want to heal the world, right, in a different way, not punish people, not make, we like to think we're not only punishing the person, we're punishing the family, we're punishing the community, because we're missing out on whatever attribute they're able to bring to us and contribute to society. so many smart individuals who are just locked up in a cage, to be frank and to be blunt. And what are we doing?
Yeah.
wasting room, wasting time, you know, and eliminating the chance for our world to continue to be great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I wish more people understood how much like just getting the police and the state itself involved causes so much more pain. It causes so much. It makes the situation way more complicated than it could be. You know, like most of so disclaimer, I went to school for criminal justice and I got my associate's degree in criminal justice / law enforcement. So I learned everything about, well, not everything, but I learned a good chunk of stuff about what police officers learn, which is, long story short, some bullshit.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but it was an aspect of like, you know, they said like, you think you're going to be doing stuff like on movies and all this action-packed shit. They said you're not. They said most of your calls are going to be neighborhood disputes and mediating.
Yep.
And the wild thing about that, I didn't think about it at the time, but now I think about it like we're paying people this money just to mediate a conversation that two other people could just have with a third party in their neighborhood if they just had the communication skills. That's the only thing that's not there.
Exactly.
The communication, like working on the communication skills and the way to navigate the conversation, that is a more neighborhood dispute. That is more like, you know, such and such kid broke into my house and stole my Xbox. It's like, well, why they steal it, you know? And it's like, oh, because they need money because they can't get any groceries, you know? So it's like thinking about, okay, so they stole it because of this. So now we need to figure out a way to do that. But also they got to understand you can't just be stealing people's shit. And and that sounds so much simpler than calling some random person who's 9 times out of 10 not even from the neighborhood, let alone the fucking city, who's already on an ego trip. Already on an ego trip because they feel like they've missed a get bad, and so they gonna arrest this little kid, put him through all this trauma, all this strain, while their parents come and visit them and have to take 3 to 4 hours out of their weekends to navigate and travel to this place that's in the middle of the boondocks to visit that kid. And just that whole experience is so like, it's so disheartening, and it's
traumatizing.
So unfortunate that folks aren't able to think about all the aspects of it. And it's so good to hear that like your organization and other folks out here are like really focused on restorative justice and getting back to the aspect of community before we started focusing more on the punitive route or more punishment. It was more of that, like, you know, you gotta own up to your shit. So I
think it's really sweet. I don't know. I feel like it's a very hopeful way to look at changing the world around us, right? And it requires obviously a lot of empathy, as I feel like Amira has expressed like so much, like having so much of yourself to give, and people have a tendency to be really selfish. And like I feel like I have found that out in my adult years more than I ever thought, because when you're younger, you believe, you're like, we are the world, we are the children, we are the ones things, and you're like, okay, like the world can be different and sweet and hopeful. And then you get into the real world and you're like, y'all act like this every day to each other on purpose.
Exactly.
That's insane to me, you know. And like growing up in the Midwest, people being mean, that's unheard of, you know. Like we are very much smile walkers, right? We're walking, they'll be like, good morning, how you doing? Okay, you doing good? You know, you'll be walking anywhere in this city, you walk somewhere, there's always gonna be somebody talking about, oh hey, what's that? You like, they're always like that, you know what I mean? So now I feel like it's really like hopeful to hear that from you, especially because I'm not in Milwaukee, you know, I'm here in my Midwest town over here, but my mother will claim that she's from Milwaukee because she was born there. and nothing else. Literally born in the hospital and came to Indiana and grew up and lived her life. And if she's listening to this, I just want you to know, lady, you're insane. I love you, but you're insane.
You remind me, Asia, and you're in
Indianapolis.
Yep. Okay, see, and I have a cousin who lives in Terre Haute, so I'm in Terre Haute often, and you know that's
where the death
small.
that's where the death penalty prison at. Yeah.
And but even with that being said, he ended up living and relocating to be closer to family, right? That was system impacted. And so with that being said, is I'm often driving in and out of that town, and they're not always friendly to me, and they always stereotype me, and I will drive through and my tinted vehicle will get stopped at least 3 times on the way, simply because it's a tinted out vehicle and I'm a of color woman.
Yeah.
So it's always interesting to me, and I think that what I'm learning as an adult, unfortunately, times have fucking changed, and it's not at a level of just people being unkind and unfriendly. I think that people are comfortable with simply not allowing others to have a space in this world too. And I think people have forgotten that aspect. And I think that it's nice when we see like-minded individuals, and we see individuals like the other day I went to the Kamala rally here in Milwaukee, and so many different type of individuals, so many different ethnic groups, so many different people, but someone ended up hurt, and we all stopped, and we're all like, oh my God. And I was just like, this is what I mean. We love to see it. We need more of this community. We need more of this togetherness.
Yeah.
And we don't see that at all. Not in public, not not when you go anywhere, you know. And so just to bring that, you know, loving aspect back to the world. Yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm not saying I can change everything, but if I could give a smile that could help somebody, maybe it would help them feel seen, you know. So
yeah, I do. I feel I am the person, like, if someone who is facing like housing instability asks me for some money, if I have some money on me, I'm gonna give it to them, even if people are like, you know, I can't help it. Like, I can't live with me. You know what I mean? Like, it's not about them. It's about me and who I am. And knowing that, like, even if I feel like I'm poor, I know I'm going home to this place where I don't have to deal with nothing and nobody and nobody else. And it'll be 19 years before I come up out this house, even if all the bills never get paid. They gonna have to pry me up off this computer with my cold dead hands. So, you know, like, so I feel very, very intrigued, not intrigued, but inclined to do that. But I also think too, when it comes to, like, I guess the race, like the issues surrounding like racial justice, because we're probably going to pivot over to the things, especially look for in this election season. What are some of like the issues that we should be considering, or what is at the top of the docket for the organization, for yourself in general?
So for the organization, we are actually working to, well, for one, we've been very grateful to receive over 2,000 signatures in alignment with a formerly incarcerated people-based program, where they're able to take a voucher and take it to any business in their community, outside of their community. They get a tax credit. The business gets a tax credit. It's a win. You know, the formerly incarcerated individual gets a feasible job. And so we know that it's fairly cheap to send 5,000 individuals through a program of this nature. And so we are trying to really motivate and push that. And I think that we've done a great job. We've made some great conversations. As mentioned, we've been able to, you know, knock on over 30,000 doors. So I think that's important. And we want to look at like the long-term and voting and what's on the top of issues, right? Be a voice.
Yeah.
Be a voice. I was able to attend a press conference, and there's Reverend Greg Lewis was speaking, and he is a great advocate here in Milwaukee, and he is the executive director of Polls to the Souls, or Souls to the Polls, excuse me. And he looked out at the world and said, my Black brothers and sisters, we have to understand, we are one of the most important people in the world right now.
Yeah.
I sat back and I said, He is absolutely right.
Mhm.
And not only because of where we're at right now with the elections, like on a personal level, not even with my organization, but on a personal level, as Amira, who's a woman of color who has lupus disease, who identifies with the LGBTQ community. What is life going to look like for me or my family that I'm trying to curate and have for the next
Yeah.
20, 30 years, right? I'm a young woman. I'm 23 years old. I faced a lot of adversity in my life, but certain things are not meant for people like us. And I'm
Mm.
starting to see that and understand that. And when I say that, I mean, imagine if you had someone representing your county or your district, or even someone in the assembly that is completely out of touch with what you're experiencing, with the moms who are struggling with to make ends meet,
Yeah.
with elder safety in the community, right?
Yes.
I'm still going to school for business right now.
Mhm.
What if I have financial struggles, on top of a health issues? If we cut off my Medicaid and all these things, thank God for my private insurance. But if I go ill and I need to go on Social Security,
Yep.
what is that going to be for me and my lupus disease? Am I
Yeah.
going to have care? Or are they just going to let me fucking rot because, hey, you don't make billions of dollars?
Right.
And I
Yeah.
think that it's about fact checking, and I think it's about asking questions and staying informed. It's okay to have healthy debates. Someone had a debate with me, and they mentioned, they said, the city, Milwaukee County, has been ran, with Democrats for a long time, and that's why they aren't doing so well. And I said, I can understand your opinion. I can understand your opinion again, but I would hate for someone to again come and represent the community that I live in, that knows absolutely nothing, that doesn't look like the individuals who are in this community, who's never had faced any adversity in their life, on a deeper level. And it's not to be like that, but it's just like, I want someone who sees me for me and is actually going to do something about it. It's not just a position in office. It's not just a position of power and to make a name or a face look good. These are the people that are going to be your voice. And so if you're not going to speak up, then my love, who's going to?
Exactly.
So,
Right.
and that's why I say, shit, my mama would tell you I have a loud mouth. I have a
Period.
big mouth. And I'm proud to use it, and I'm proud to make people uncomfortable to be comfortable again. Just do your research. Fact check yourself. Fact
Yeah.
check your peers. Or like most recently, I've gotten my friends in my small group of community to be engaged again in voting because they simply felt that they didn't have a place in this race.
Absolutely. That's
Now
great.
I'm bringing them with me to these events. I'm informing them. I'm inviting them to be a part of Worker Center as a member to give their feedback. You know what I'm saying? And you got to stay grassroots. You have to stay receptive. I don't know everything. Shoot, you don't know everything. But we can continue to inclusively work on it together.
Yeah. And I
And that's
absolutely
my
agree.
favorite. Yeah, and that's my favorite part about what I do, and I think that that's why it's important for individuals to use their voice.
Yeah.
Because it's
And
not
that's
about culture. It's not about color. It's about culture.
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I
Yes.
think a lot of people mix that up, like not to be in a different category, right? But like, do you think Remember
Right.
the Titans would have been as impactful if somebody else besides Denzel played that role? Like that. It's not just that he's a black man, it's that he understands the
Right.
culture of it. And that's
Exactly.
that's what our experience is. We want people in places that we want to be that look like us, so that way
Right.
we feel comfortable enough approaching those people, moving towards those people, pushing other
Right.
people to be those people. It's wild. And we are such a melting
Yeah,
pot.
and I think too, like I'm a mixed woman, but in the eyes of the world, I am a black woman. I'm not lost black Puerto Rican in my little sliver of white. I'm just a black woman, right? And it doesn't matter where I am or where I go, where I'm received at, where I'm receptive to other people and their stories are. And sometimes I get like I like to think I'd like to press the button just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to challenge individuals. Why do you feel that way? By the end of the conversation I'm received, I'm no different than you.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up with the same adversities. My mom has been disabled her whole life, grew up with a single parent, you know, and I use that to fuel me. We may not be rich financially, but rich in knowledge.
Yeah.
To continue to share those. And I think that not even having a safe space with people who look like you, but if we can have progressive people who are in alliance to be progressive and progress Wisconsin and progress the state forward and progress the U.S. forward, we need all those people on board. Our brothers, our sisters, our neighbors. It doesn't matter what the hell you look like, black, blue, green, yellow, rainbow, whatever you are, her, him, whatever you identify as. We are community and we need to get back to that. And I think that people forget that it took different skills and different individuals to be great, to create a great place.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, so we need to get you on the ticket in the next few years.
It's giving.
I hate politics. No, thank you.
You know, I mean, you ain't got to do a whole politics, but you know what I'm saying? You could be up there with the mayor's office just doing some stuff. You know what I mean?
You don't be up there with the mayor. Okay. Let's not get too deep in that.
Okay,
but,
you could be the mayor. I'm sorry. Oh my God.
Please.
Yeah, let's not get too deep in that because that's a whole different thing. But why? So like somebody's watching this or listening to this and they like, yeah, I hear what they saying, but you know, I don't really give a fuck about voting still. You know, why should people care about their not only the federal election, which is like, you know, for president, senators, House of Rep, you know, why should they care about that, but also care about their local election as well? Like what are some of the significant things that they have power of and what things they can like affect if they participate in the voting?
I think, you know, like I said, stay informed and look up your local city officials and your alderwomen or men who are representing your direct community. So your 10-block radius of your home, you know, look into who is the voice for those groups of people. And I say that because oftentimes those aldermen or alder people, they have meetings, they have town halls, they have opportunities for the community to come together to voice opinions. And then you also have an opportunity to learn about those candidates or those individuals who are in, you know, that seat. And I think that not only do we have to like stay informed on our own, but we have to make sure that these individuals align with our beliefs and morals too. You know what I'm saying? And so I know we can watch TV all day long and see the 86 commercials that come on tarnishing every other person, you know, but do your own research. And if you don't you know, want to do your own research, then come out and have a great discussion with me, Amira. I would love to inform you. I would love to inform you. I would love to have debates with you. Healthy discussions are what's needed. And I think that people misconstrue the fact of like, I'm just one person. I'm not going to matter.
Yeah.
When Donald Trump won in each district in Milwaukee, or in the state, excuse me, I think there was 4 votes short per ward. And when I found that out, I'm like, so you telling me if I would have knocked on the doors and maybe did a little bit more of sharing information that I could have reached 4 individuals in my community that could have maybe helped progress something?
Yeah.
So I think it's just about staying informed and helping our neighbors stay informed too.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why I'm so grateful for my organization. We're out not only in the community canvassing and reminding people, hey, today's election day. Go vote. I don't care who you vote for. Your opinion matters.
Yeah.
Who is most in alliance with what you believe in? Are you seeking benefits, or are you on benefits? Are you on Social Security? Do you have family who are on Social Security? Do you have family with existing medical conditions, diabetes, you know, lupus, anything of that nature? Those people are going to be affected. You know, if you're a child and you have diabetes, that child is going to be affected.
Yeah.
They're not going to receive that healthcare benefit because they have diabetes. How do you afford insulin? You know, and so all these things go hand in hand. And I think if we're trying to get to like a progressive state, we need to just simply be involved. And I know sometimes it's really uncomfortable. And even after COVID, people are trying to be comfortable again after that. But if we don't love on our city, we don't love on our world, we are not going to be a nice place. And I think that we have to continue to have healthy debates and healthy discussions to just navigate through it. And no matter if you're 80 years old or you're 18 years old, I want to know why you think the way you think, and I want to understand why you think the way you think, but I also want to allow you a space to understand why I feel and I think the way that I think, because my personal experiences. We may see the world in two different ways.
Yeah.
You know, and that's okay, but that is why your opinion matters. I may have learned something from that opinion.
Yeah.
I may have learned a lesson from it, you know? And I think we're too stuck on what party you're with, and we're too stuck on who did what, when, where, and we're not looking at facts, and we're not looking at what is life going to be like for our children and our grandchildren, you know, in the next couple years.
I think about that too, because I really don't want no kids. I want to be like community auntie for sure. But I think about that because like what examples are we setting for these children when we teach them to be inclusive and understanding in school? And I really also feel like kids heal their parents in ways that, you know, other adults cannot, because kids have a very simple understanding of some things, right? The gender discussion is not necessarily a discussion with them. You tell them, well, that's what it is. There's more than people can say that they feel like they are a man or a woman or not, or this. And they say, okay, cool. Well, I know how I'm feeling.
My favorite thing is like, right. And my favorite thing is to be like, well, that's what they believe in or feel, but it's not your damn business. It's not your business. And it don't hurt you. It didn't affect you, you know?
Exactly. And they understand it on a simple level. Like that's what's so insane. They get it. So like, why is it that we as adults can't have these conversations where we lay out the facts and say, okay, this is what this is. This is what this is. I feel like this is because of these things. How do you feel about that? Versus, oh, you're wrong. You're wrong and you suck. You know, like that's crazy to me. That doesn't encourage anybody. But I also kind of want to know like a little bit more like personally about you before we wrap up. Like what is a day in your life look like, and then like how does that look like now, and what is that going to look like post election season?
Oh my goodness. Day in the life is kind of crazy right now. So as the life of a community organizer, I'm always on the go. I wake up very early, drink my coffee. I often line up my meetings back to back in the morning so that I can get them out the way.
I know that's right.
So back-to-back meetings, the only great thing about that is in those meetings I get to have good food and good coffee. So, you know, you win some, you lose some.
They're in person? They're not virtual?
No, they're in person. They're in person. But I love it because it's people connection.
I know. So early in the morning,
I get to go to a bunch of like great Black-owned restaurants, and I get to go to festivals, and I get to go meet people. So I really enjoy that. And that's just a day in my life. Meetings can look very unconventional, but that's what I enjoy about them. And so after a long day of meetings and calling folks and inviting them to events, I'm always curating an event. We often host member meetings for Worker Center for Racial Justice. And again, we're very grassroots. I am nothing without my members. I am nothing without this inclusive democracy that we have built together. So we're always looking for new members. But I connect with my people all day long. My day's easy. I get paid to talk.
Yeah.
I get paid to talk and then do something with it.
Love that. So what will it look like post-election season? Will it be the same, similar? Different?
Post-election, I think it would be something similar, just a slightly more calm. I think that we are just rampant right now because it's a very important, year. especially this year with the election. I think it's dire. And so I know I've been running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but that's only because, shoot, I want to make sure I'm being the best every single day, because once November 5th is November 5th, that's November 5th. Now I can continue to advocate for equity and promoting these gaps in the community that we have that are very real, that I get to see the pain every single day. Shoot, I've experienced the pain once in my time. And so pretty similar, pretty calm, collect, love what I do.
Yeah.
I like to think I thrive on chaos. So
period. That's the ADHD. That's what that is. Yeah, that's the ADHD. That's the ADHD at work. Sure. You said calm. Sure. I don't know her. Chaos, my happy place, actually.
That's my queen. Chaos. That's my queen.
that's you know what? That's a sticker. Actually, let me write that down real quick. I'll get on that. I'll send you a sticker. You like stickers? I like stickers.
Period. I'm waiting on Asia. Don't threaten me with a good time.
I've been making stickers. Nobody knows, but I've been making them, and the first one is very funny, and I will mention it later. But I'm making stickers because I cannot keep working outside of my house every day. I hate it.
Being out there in the world.
I don't like working in a capacity where I am required to be somewhere or do something. You know what I mean? Like, I want to set up my own schedule and get there and do all those things and be happy. And that will make me happy. And as a result, I'll make other people happy. But I can't do that if you want me to be there every week, at the same time, every day. And then you say,
I'm socially...
No, I do not want to do it. You know why? Because 4 weeks per month, one of those weeks, I am out of commission. And you still want me to show up? No. And then you still want me to look at you in the face and smile in your face? No, I cannot do that. No, I can't. No,
they want you to show up. I don't know if they want you to smile.
No, they do. No.
They just want you to be there.
No. You do not understand. No. If I don't act like this, people will be like, "What's wrong with you, Asia? What's going on? Are you okay? You don't seem warm today. Something seems wrong. And in fact, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? No, it seems like something going on. The energy just seemed different." I'm like, I'm tired. And they're like, no. I just think you just don't seem warm. You don't seem like you're having a good time. You don't seem like life is really going well for you right now. What's going on? I'm sleepy.
And then they don't offer you the real solution. It's like, do you need some more money? Like, I'll just say, if you pay me more, then I'll be happy as hell.
I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. This has been great.
Yeah. Amira, thank you. You know, this has been an amazing time. We're getting close to the end of the episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. At this time, this is the time where we let the guests give off, some words of wisdom, some positive affirmations, some mantras you like to chant to yourself to keep you going and pick yourself up and get back on the horse. So this is your time to give the people some of the things that you like to throw to yourself.
Yeah.
Man, I just want to say, love yourself and be patient with yourself. This is our first time here on this earth. We are all figuring it out together. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. You don't know what the hell you're doing. We are all learning together. Give yourself some grace. If you're having a hard day, give yourself some damn grace. Sometimes we just need to slow down and love on ourselves. So just give yourself grace.
So cute.
Yeah.
Literally so sweet. My God.
Yes. Asia, what you got?
What do I have? Mine is a little romantic today, but my affirmation, especially after this week, has been with love, everything. And for me, what that means is embodying love for all of my actions, like in all of my actions and the things that, I'm putting out into the world, but also the things that I'm receiving, right? And because sometimes I feel like even if there's no intent behind something, sometimes little traumas, triggers, or something will pop in there and be like, why did they say that like that? And I have to remember that people love me. It's okay for people to care about me. and to care about me genuinely, even if, you know, it feels hard that they haven't done that in the past. Like, there are people on this planet, in my friendship, in my circles, that genuinely love and care about me. And remembering that has been a really nice way to, you know, frame how I care about other people and the intentions that I have when people are in other situations. What about you, Cortez?
You know, what I say last week, you know, sometimes you get a charge to the game. You know what? I'm gonna come with something more real. You know, life. Look, in life, you might get knocked down. You might get knocked out. You might get jumped. But you got to remember, you only lose when you stay down.
Okay. Wow, that had a really great ending.
Very true.
That had a great ending.
I was a little scared at first.
Yeah,
now,
that beginning mental. That was.
That guy's ain't good. Where is he going?
Yes.
Getting jumped.
Life will knock you down. Oh, push you down. Life will knock you out. Life will jump you. Bills. Bills, family, friends, do. Fight back, nigga, fight back. You know what I'm saying? Like, but as long as you get back up and keep going, that's all you can do, you know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. That was really inspirational. That was really,
thanks, bro.
I really appreciate that. That's really
nice.
What I'm
saying, man? I'm a philosopher every once in a while. You know,
okay, Aristotle. Get into it. Where can people find you on social media, Amira? Where are your things? How would you like people to get connected with you?
Well, Amira's not a big social media person. Well, when I was booking Amira, I booked Amira. Amira got to get booked. That's how big she is. But Amira, she said that she's not a big social media person. So where can the people? So I think a better way would be like, where can the people find your organization and some of the like impactful stuff y'all doing, and find some good information about how they can make their own decision about using their power this election.
So we have a website, so I'm just gonna pull it up really quick.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the best way to get in contact with me, and my information is on there. And so the website is called Center 4 racialjustice.org. And we also do have an Instagram page as well that kind of highlights some of the work we're doing. And that Instagram handle is at C4 Racial Justice. And so there you'll be able to see all the great work we're doing. We are often out in the community. We're often doing protests. We both have a neighboring office in Illinois, and that is where we originated from, starting in 2012. So we've been able to do some really amazing things in Illinois. So feel free to check it out, guys.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you so much. Asia, where can the people find you?
Wow, you can find me at Call Me Asia on all the things, Asia with a Z, and unfortunately an underscore on Twitter, because the girl who has my username hasn't been active since 2017 or 18, I think. Sean checked the last time.
I checked the last time.
You checked the last time, yeah, because all my ops are linked up in a picture, like Megan Thee Stallion said. Yeah. That's insane. And you can also find my photography page at The Moments Between Us if you are involved with any events or anything that I can show up and eat at, because I'm poor.
Yeah. All right. And you can find me at Black Lumberjack on Twitter. Black is spelled with 2 C's, and I have to reiterate this every single time. I am not a Crip, okay? It's just 2 C's, just because it's just spelled like that. So Black with 2 C's, Lumberjack spelled the same way. Well, not the same way, the typical way, Lumberjack with the CK at the end. Instagram, Big Dog Tez. You'll find me on there because I'm Big Dog. And if you want to follow the podcast, we are Blacspiration on Twitter, Blacspiration Pod on Instagram, Blacspiration on Twitch. Once I figure out what the hell we doing with this flooring situation at my house, I'm going to be Twitch streaming, goddamn it.
Period.
I'm going to be on here screaming obscenities at you at a regular time during the week. And as always, thank you all so much for listening to this episode, watching this episode, being a part of the community. Shout out to the Kangaroo Kingdom over there in Asia's community. And as always, y'all, be happy, drink some water. For my gamers, keep gaming. And I hope you left this episode feeling inspired.
Bye.